Incredible Hulk versus the almighty Thor. Now many people have been asking who would win between these two powerful beings. But after digging up some research and finding these old Marvel movies, I finally found the ultimate gem. Today, I present to you Hulk versus Thor. Yeah, very creative name, am I right? Now, it's been proven time and time again on several different occasions that Thor maybe be able to beat the Hulk. Keyword maybe, because it's not if Thor can beat the Hulk, it's how fast Thor can beat the Hulk before the Hulk eventually outpowers him. Because realistically, the more the Hulk fights, the more rageful he becomes. And the more rageful he becomes, the more stronger he gets. So eventually, if Thor can't take out Hulk in time, then Thor is obviously losing. But again, this is Thor that we're talking about. This man is a literal god. So there is a probability that this man could take out Hulk before he outpowers him. But anyways, my opinion doesn't really matter because in this 40-minute long movie, it basically answers the question on which two of these guys would win in a fight. So without further ado, let's actually get into this movie. Alright, so the story starts off with Big Man Allfather, aka Odin, in this comatose-like state called the Odin Sleep. And for the people that read the Thor comics know that this man Odin is that guy. Odin is legit one of the most powerful beings in Marvel comics. And I'm betting that if Odin was still alive in the MCU, he'd 100% smack the absolute dog shit out of Thanos. Heck, if Odin was still awake, then the events of Hulk versus Thor wouldn't even happen because this man Odin would have legit murdered the Hulk. Like, that's how strong Odin is. So you guys can kind of understand why this man is just sleeping right now and is replenishing his strength. Anywho, while Odin is sleeping, both the Asgards and Trolls both go to war, and unsurprisingly, the Asgardians win. But that's not really the main focus because we cut to Loki kidnapping Bruce Banner and chaining him up. I honestly have zero clue how Loki managed to kidnap Bruce Banner without him transforming into the Hulk, but who cares? He probably just used some BS magic anyway. But the main reason why Loki brought Bruce to Asgard was pretty much to use the Hulk to kill Thor. So when Loki tells Bruce Banner to let out the Hulk, Bruce Banner tries his hardest to prevent the Hulk from coming out. But then Loki just smacks the shit out of Bruce Banner, and then you guessed it, Bruce Banner transforms into the Hulk. And when the Hulk finally came out, Hulk just tries to immediately put this man Loki in a body bag. But luckily for Loki, he uses his magic to block the Hulk's attack, and then Amora comes in and then uses her paralysis spell to split apart the Hulk's body. So now both the Hulk and Bruce Banner's soul are now split apart, which now means they're separate entities. So once the Hulk was split from Bruce Banner, Amora uses her magic again to allow Loki to use the Hulk's body. And you guys already know where this is about to go. We cut to the Asgardians celebrating the fact that they managed to beat the Trolls in the war, and then we hear Hulk, quote unquote, screaming in the background. And then the Asgardians, thinking it's just another troll, tries to attack the Hulk. But we all know how this goes. My man Loki goes straight to work with the Hulk's body and just starts whooping the Asgardians. Like he was low-key, you see what I did there? Going straight to town with these motherfuckers. Amora tells Loki to calm down with Hulk's body before he breaks out of the spell. But let's be honest, he is clearly not listening right now because he's having a blast with the Hulk's body. We cut back to Hulk still fighting the Asgardians, and it's not looking good for them. One of them tries to hit Hulk with the mace, but we all know that does absolutely nothing, and he ends up getting dealt with a quick 1-2. One of the guys with the sword slashes Hulk's back, but then the Hulk literally smacks the absolute dog shit out of them, and he ends up hitting his back. And you can just tell by the impact, Buddy is not getting up anytime soon. I mean, when his back hit the wood legit started to crack, so you know his back is cooked. And even though Buddy's spine was basically done for, Loki didn't give a fuck and just kept on punching him anyway. We then go back to the guy with the mace, getting up and turning around just to see the Hulk holding up this big ass wooden stick. And then the Hulk just crushes him with the wooden stick, sending this man straight to Valhalla. The Hulk continues making a rampage as he throws this wooden pillar right directly at the gate and keeps on beating up more Asgardians. And finally, just finally, one of these motherfuckers had the common sense to call up Thor. I honestly didn't know why they didn't do that shit sooner, because the whole squad was getting demolished, low-key. Anyway, just when it looked like the Hulk was about to pack up another Asgardian, Thor pops up and uses his hammer to stop the Hulk. And just like that, both Hulk and Thor just begin scrapping. Hulk grabs Thor and tosses him into the air, but Thor luckily recovers. However, just when Thor recovered, Hulk comes in and punches him into a nearby building. And and for some reason Thor is trying to talk some sense into the Hulk. But my question is, why though? Like, the Hulk is like the least likely person to be able to reason with, because all this man wants to do is just fight and cause chaos. Like, how the hell is Thor gonna be able to reason with that? While Thor is trying to talk some sense into Hulk, Hulk doesn't give a fuck and just tries to attack Thor again. But luckily Thor moves out the way. And just when Thor turns around, Hulk grabs him by the collar. And right before the Hulk is about to smack this man Thor away, Thor questions the Hulk as to why he's even here. And then the Hulk starts talking in the voice of Loki. And after hearing Loki's voice, my man Thor automatically knew what was going on here. And before we even continue any further, can we just peep Hulk's expression here? Like, the Hulk right here looks mad devious. Like, if I saw him in real life and he looked at me like this, I deadass might start crying low-key. The Hulk starts beating the bricks off of Thor's head, after which the Thor would then use his hammer to intercept the Hulk's last attack and then move out the way. Thor would then continue smacking around the Hulk with his hammer as he starts bashing in Hulk's head with his hammer against the wall. And even though Loki's technically in the Hulk's body, I'm kinda shocked that Hulk's frontal lobe isn't like smushed together by the amount of times he gets hit by the Thor's hammer. But shit, I guess the Hulk's body is built different. Hulk tries to grab Thor, but Thor weaves out the way and then hits this man in the knees. And then Thor uses his full force to smack away the Hulk, smashing him into a nearby statue. Hulk throws the statue at him, but Thor's kinda used to Hulk just throwing random shit at him, so Thor just effortlessly destroys the statue. And I guess that Loki already knew that Thor was gonna destroy the statue, so he immediately grabs Thor's head, jumps up, and then smashes him into the ground. Hulk then follows up with him punching Thor into a nearby tower, and just when it looked like Thor was about to get up, Hulk jumps on him and dives straight into Thor's body, smashing him into the second floor. And after just basically putting the beat down on Thor, Loki finds Mjolnir and tries to lift it up. And I don't know if it's because he's in Hulk's body or if it's just him, but unlike in the Ultimate Universe where Hulk effortlessly managed to lift up Stormbreaker, in this case, Hulk was not able to lift up Mjolnir. And after failing to lift up Mjolnir miserably, Thor finally wakes up from the ass beating that he got from Hulk, and then he just yoinks the hammer from Loki and then summons lightning to strike upon Hulk's body. And my man Loki is in intense pain right now. But that begs the question, if he can feel pain through Hulk's body, then does that mean he just effortlessly tanked Thor's hammer attacks? Like, shouldn't Loki at least have like CTE from the amount of times he got hit with Thor's hammer? Or at least this man's knee should be in pain after Thor's knee attack against the Hulk. But oh well, maybe I'm just thinking too much. As Hulk's body is getting electrocuted, Loki's spell just completely breaks apart. And now that Loki's spell has officially been broken, the big green crash out himself is now fully awake. And after the real Hulk had finally waken up, he rushes at Thor and punches him in the arm. And just listen to the way Thor screams after just getting punched in the arm. And hey, I'm not gonna lie, but the voice actor must have been in their bag when they were making that scream, cause that has gotta be the most terrifying scream I've heard from Thor. Hulk continues fighting Thor as he punches Thor to a fucking mountain. And if you guys ever watched the Invincible show, then you guys realize what Omni-Man did to Invincible is basically similar to what Hulk is doing to Thor right now. Hulk punches Thor through the mountain, and even though this man Thor's been getting his ass beat horrendously, he still has enough strength to stand up tall against the Hulk. And with the last bit of strength Thor has, he tries to punch the Hulk, but the Hulk just immediately booms his ass, and just like that, Thor is just laying on the ground unconscious. Like Thor was looking like that one scene from Dragon Ball when Yamcha got his ass killed by that one Cyberman. Like Gang was completely laid out. Amora pops up to check on Thor, and she's like, damn, she didn't even really want the Thor to get that fucked up. So she fully restores Thor's health and also decides to snitch on Loki, telling him his current location of Thor. We then transition back to the Hulk fucking up everybody in Asgard, committing mass murder to basically every single Asgardian. Like, I don't really see the point behind sending all these soldiers to fight Hulk when they're all just gonna basically die. Like, unless their weapons are coated with adamantium, their spears and shields are gonna do jack shit to the Hulk. A matter of fact, I think the Asgardians have a stronger material than adamantium, but I forgot what that shit is called. We then go back to Thor cracking down on Loki's ass, telling him to fix the mess he's fucking created and to bring back the Hulk to Midgard. But there's one tiny little problem. yeah, Loki just straight up murdered Bruce Banner. And without Bruce Banner's soul, they can't bring the Hulk back to Midgard. So Thor and Loki basically have to go to hell. That way they can retrieve Bruce Banner's soul back. And that way they can put the Hulk's and Bruce's soul back together as one. Which is quite literally easier said than done, because they're quite literally gonna go to hell. We then go to see Hulk fighting a bunch of Valkyries, and he's just beating the bricks out of them. Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't even 5 minutes and the Valkyries had already lost to Hulk. Like, that's crazy work, dude. Like, no wonder why they all end up getting destroyed in Ragnarok, because they're hella trash. Like, I haven't seen one Asgardian except for Thor actually manage to hurt the Hulk. After Hulk had defeated all the Valkyries, we then see Loki send out this big ass frost giant to fight the Hulk. The frost giant tried to crush the Hulk, but the Hulk moved out the way and then banged him in the face. We then see Thor and Loki in hell talking to Hela, asking for Bruce Banner's soul back, but I guess she was feeding for Bruce's soul because she obviously says no. So Loki, obviously being the little diabolical trickster that he is, manages to convince Hela by telling her that she only has half of Bruce's soul, and to complete her collection, she's also gonna need the Hulk's soul. We then cut to Hulk whooping the frost giant's ass, and after he defeated the frost giants, he tries to get into Odin's castle and he just starts beating on the door. We then see inside of Odin's castle as we see Seth and Amora getting ready to fight the Hulk. But before we even see them fight, we cut to Bruce Banner in the afterlife. And low-key, his afterlife is kinda good because he has a wife and kid. Like, this could have been Bruce's life if he never got hit by that gamma blast. Anyways, Bruce's afterlife is basically short-lived because he gets teleported right back to hell, where he sees Loki, Thor, and Hela. And Thor is like, hey man, you're Loki gonna have to reconnect with the Hulk. And Bruce is like, fuck that shit, because if you think about it, the Hulk basically ruined his life. But hey, even if Bruce Banner doesn't want to repossess the Hulk, he kinda doesn't really even have a choice, because if he doesn't, all of Asgard is basically screwed right now. We then cut to Hulk finally entering into Odin's castle, and explain to me why Seth and Amora sent all these crows to fight Hulk. Like, really? Birds? Like, the fuck is a bunch of birds gonna do to the Hulk, bro? Amora then uses her magic to blast away the Hulk, but it obviously backfires and pushes her away instead. Then we see Sif fighting the Hulk as she's basically stabbing him, cutting him up, and then tripping him. And when she was about to deal the finishing blow, Hulk gets up and grabs her, picks her up, and then just slams her WWE style. And then after beating Seth, he walks up to Odin trying to pack up this motherfucker while he's sleeping, might I add. But before he could do that, he gets transported to hell. And after he gets transported to hell, the first thing he sees is Bruce Banner, and this man just starts tweaking the fuck out. Hulk smashes the ground and tries to grab Bruce Banner while they're both falling. Like, the hate between Bruce Banner and the Hulk has to legit be generational, cause ain't no way. Before Hulk tried to grab onto Bruce Banner gets teleported by Hela, and then the Hulk just falls into the ground. And I guess since Hulk couldn't get his hands on Bruce Banner, he just starts fucking up the place. And obviously Hela isn't fucking with that shit, so she tells Thor and Loki to handle the Hulk. So Thor starts attacking the Hulk and uses his lightning to strike the back of Hulk. However, the Hulk just recovers and gets right back up and then starts charging right towards the Thor. Hulk tries to go in for a quick punch, but luckily Thor weaves out the way and then sucker punches the shit out of Hulk. He then would use his hammer to smack away the Hulk, making this man land on his back. And I don't know if it's just me, but Thor is actually kind of getting a couple good hits in. Like, after Thor got his ass beat by the Hulk like 30 minutes ago now, he's like locked the fuck in now. I guess my man really wants that get back. Hulk gets back up and then tries to punch Thor again, but again, Thor moves out the way and then hits Hulk in the arm. And then Thor uses his biceps to grab the Hulk and then slam him into the ground. And just when you think Thor's done with the Hulk, he's not done yet, because he lifts his hammer up and then summons lightning to strike upon the Hulk. And even if he just got hit with this whole ass combo, my man Hulk is not ready to throw in the towel yet. So he then jumps up from the crater and then tackles Thor, smashing him into a nearby head statue. And then he just starts piecing up Thor. And just when it looked like that Thor was unconscious and was ready to be ended by the Hulk, Loki then pops up and then uses his spell to temporarily stop the Hulk in his tracks. So then Thor gets back up, puts on his helmet and picks up Mjolnir and then just starts electrocuting the Hulk. But even if Loki had his spell on the Hulk, which holds him together, that's not enough to stop the Hulk, and the Hulk just breaks free of Loki's spell and then grabs both of Thor and Loki. He then lifts both of the two up, but before he could do any more damage, Bruce Banner comes in and then talks his shit. He's like, hey, you want me? Then come get me, bitch. So Hulk's like, I bet, and then chases after Bruce Banner, and then they basically just both fuse together and then become one again. And after after just being refused with Bruce Banner, Hulk looks hella tired, which is kind of crazy since Hulk never gets tired, and then basically falls over and then reverts back to Bruce Banner. Hella not wanting to deal with Bruce Banner's ship because previously Hulk was basically fucking up hell, just decides to teleport Bruce Banner back into Midgard. And just when it looked like that Thor and Loki were about to go back to Asgard, Hela is like, y'all are going nowhere because I still need a soul at the end of the day. So Thor is like, you're not taking my soul, you're gonna at least have to run a fade for that shit. So she just decides to take Loki's soul instead, and Loki just gets dragged into the bottom pits of well, you know what. Hey though, moral of the story though, don't be like fucking Loki, because if it wasn't for Loki, maybe he wouldn't even be in this situation. So fuck him.